Imagine a frozen battlefield stretching endlessly beneath a blood-red dawn, bodies scattered across snow-covered ground. The silence breaks. Eyes snap open, glowing crystalline blue. A dead soldier rises, joints cracking with frost. Then another, and another. In the distance, a figure stands motionless, watching his army grow. His skin pale as winter itself, and wherever he walks, the wind falls silent. And this is how he began. 8,000 years before the Iron Throne, Westeros was wilderness, brutal, unforgiving, and soaked in blood. The first men had crossed from Essos, bringing bronze axes and fire to a continent of endless forests. They cut down the ancient weirwood trees, burned sacred groves, and the children of the forest fought back with magic older than memory. In a burned village, a child green seer stood over fallen first men, her voice echoing with fury.
You defile the earth! You murder the trees! You will drown in your own blood!
A surviving commander raised his sword defiantly.
This land is ours now! We will not be driven back into the sea!
The ground beneath his feet split open, swallowing his men whole. No day passed without bloodshed. No family remained whole. And in the midst of this endless violence stood a man who would change everything. His name is lost to history, but once he had one. He was a warrior of the first men. Tall, strong, with eyes that had seen too much death too young. But it was his heart that defined him. In a war camp one evening, a young soldier asked him,
"Commander, do you think we'll ever see peace?"
The warrior didn't look up from sharpening his sword.
Peace is what we're fighting for, boy. Whether we'll live to see it, that's another question. But I'll fight so you might. That's enough for me.
He'd had a sister once, killed in a raid when he was 12. He'd found her body in the ashes. His comrades had died one by one. Brothers, not by blood, but by bond. Every victory cost him something until nothing was left but duty. An older warrior sat down across from him.
Another patrol went missing. That's the third this week, and how long can we keep this up?
The warrior was quiet before answering.
As long as we have to. We die so they don't have to.
That's the choice. Deep in the haunted forest, beneath the oldest weirwood tree in the world, the wisest green seers gathered. The eldest, her skin like bark and eyes black as obsidian, spoke in a voice that rustled like leaves.
The war will consume everything. We need a weapon. Something that will never tire, never doubt, never stop.
They found him leading a scouting party 3 days later. The children appeared without warning, and the wind, howling moments before, went utterly still. The warrior raised his hand, stopping his men from drawing weapons. The eldest green seer stepped forward.
We did not come to fight. We came to offer you an end to the war.
The warrior's expression hardened. I would never betray my people.
Not betray. Save. We can create a weapon that will end the killing, but it requires someone willing to sacrifice everything for peace.
He looked back at his men, young faces with old eyes, soldiers who should have been farmers and fathers. He thought of the boy by the fire who still believed in tomorrow. Will it stop the killing? The green seer's answer was careful. Yes. He pressed harder. Will it save my people? She paused. It will save the land itself. He already knew what it would cost. Heroes don't ask the price, they just pay it. When do we start? They took him to the ancient weirwood the next night. His oldest friend clasped his arm. You're the best man I've ever known. Whatever they do to you in there, remember that. The warrior managed a grim smile. Take care of them, the boy especially. He still has hope. Keep it alive. 12 children formed a circle around him, chanting in the true tongue. The eldest Greenseer approached with a blade of dragon glass.
You must be willing. Force will break the magic. You can still walk away.
The warrior looked at the blade. I'm willing. She studied his face. The man you are will die tonight. He nodded.
I've been dying for years, piece by piece. At least this death means something. Do it.
She pressed the blade against his chest. Slowly, the dragon glass began to sink into his flesh. He screamed. The magic invaded every cell, every nerve. Ice crystallized in his veins. Cold spread through his chest like roots through soil. His blood froze. His heart slowed, each beat echoing like a drum in a frozen hall. Slower, slower, until it barely moved at all. Frost formed on his skin. His eyes burned as magic rewrote them from brown to crystalline blue. Through the agony, he saw memories rising. His sister's face fading to gray. His comrades' laughter shattering into powder. Every person he'd ever loved dissolving like breath in winter air. He tried to hold on to them, but the cold erased everything. The man who knelt before that weirwood tree had a name, a past, a soul. The thing that rose had none of these. Only purpose, only cold. And around him, the wind died completely. The world looked different, colors sharper, colder. He could see heat rising from the children like crimson ghosts, could feel every living thing in the forest. And he felt nothing. No pain, no fear, no regret, only clarity and power. He stood, and frost spread from his footsteps in perfect circles. A young child raised her hand, and roots burst from the earth to bind him. He looked down at the roots, thought about cold, and they froze solid. He flexed, and the roots shattered like glass. "What have we created?" she whispered. The eldest Greenseer stepped forward. "You are our weapon. You will protect the forest from..." He interrupted her, and the temperature dropped 10 degrees.
I will protect what I choose to protect.
His voice was hollow, like wind through a crypt. Days turned to weeks. He learned to freeze water with a thought, to summon blizzards from clear skies. Then he discovered his greatest gift. He found a dead deer and placed his hand on its cold fur. He called to the residual warmth of life, and the deer's eyes opened, glowing blue. It stood on frozen legs, and the wind around them ceased its howling. The eldest Greenseer's voice was sharp. "This is necromancy, against the natural order."
You made me a bridge between life and death. Did you think I wouldn't explore what that means?
She stepped closer. "You were supposed to be a weapon." "Weapons don't think." He smiled, and it was terrible.
You gave me eternity to think. I am exactly what you made. You just didn't consider what I would become once I started using it.
At first, he did as commanded. He fought the first men, appearing from blizzards in absolute silence. He raised the frozen soldiers as they fell, and they turned on their former comrades with empty blue eyes. The war began to turn. Peace seemed possible, but he was changing. He watched both sides with cold clarity. First men fighting over scraps, betraying allies for survival. Children planning genocide, celebrating vengeance. An elder Greenseer said, "When we have won, we will drive them back into the sea. And the weapon? We will deal with him then." He heard this from the shadows, standing so still that not even the wind dared move around him. A thought formed in his immortal mind, cold and clear as winter ice. A world that needs monsters to survive, deserves monsters to rule it. Years passed. The war ended with exhaustion, both sides too broken to continue. An uneasy silence fell across Westeros, but he remained, walking north to where the cold was oldest and deepest, where even sound itself seemed to freeze. He found a frozen lake with bodies beneath the ice, warriors from both sides, preserved perfectly. He laid his hand on the surface and called. The ice cracked. Shapes moved beneath. One by one they rose, first men and children alike, their ancient hatred erased by death, their eyes glowing the same crystalline blue. They stood in perfect rows before him, silent, obedient. He looked at his army, small now, but it would grow. There were battlefields everywhere across Westeros, thousands sleeping beneath the snow. He would build an army that didn't lie, didn't betray, didn't hunger for power. An army that knew only one law, his will, perfect order, perfect silence, perfect cold. He was created to protect the living, to save humanity from destroying itself. But standing before his frozen throne, he had reached a different conclusion. The living couldn't be saved. They would always fight, always destroy. He had sacrificed everything to protect them, and they had planned to destroy him for it. But he was about to judge them, and when he marched south again, and he would march south, it wouldn't be to protect the living. It would be to perfect them, to bring them into the cold, where pain and hatred and greed couldn't exist. As frost spread endlessly across the frozen lake, he spoke for the first time in years. His words carried on a wind that had finally begun to move again.
They will call me a monster. They will call me death. But I am what they made me. I am their judgment, and winter is coming for them all.